last classes, we studied about the varieties of food and the different sources of food and all those things. So, in today's chapter, we'll be looking into the continuation part of the chapter. So, in activity 4, we came to know about the different food parts of the plant which could be eaten, or the edible parts of the plant. So, moving on to the activity 5. So, here we have taken the dry seeds of moong or the chana. So, we put a small quantity of seeds in a container filled with water and leave it aside for a day. So, the next day when you drain the water completely and leave the seeds in the vessel or wrap them with a piece of wet cloth and set it aside. So, what do we see the following day? We see the sprouts, the white colored structure which is emerging out, which is coming out from the seeds, are called as the sprouts actually. Okay, so if you don't see the sprouts in this grains, so what you have to do, again you wash the seed, drain out or pour out the water and leave it aside for another day. So then when you cover it with a wet cloth, the next day you can see the seeds being sprouted. So in this picture you can see the chana dal actually and its sprouts. So after washing these sprouted seeds, so what you can do with them? So they are really nutritious and they are yummy too. You can boil them or eat them raw itself, adding some spices so that it can be a snack to eat, which is really healthy. So now honey. When you hear the word honey, you can feel the real taste, right? Yes or no? Okay. So have you ever seen a honey beehive actually? So where the bees keep on buzzing around. So what does honeybee does actually? So honeybees go to a flower and it sucks the nectar. Nectar is nothing but the sweet juice which the honeybee collects from the flowers, and then later it converts it into the honey. So where it stores the honey actually? It is stored in the beehive. So this is the beehive actually. So on the tall trees or on the tall buildings, you can find the beehive, right? So flowers and their nectar may be available only for a part of the year. So not all around the year you can see the nectar from the flowers. So bees store this nectar for their use all throughout the year. When we find such beehive, we collect the food stored by the bees in the form of honey. So in the next slide, I'll be talking about how the sprouts have been done once again. So what you have to do, you have to take the moong dal or the chana dal and soak it. So later, the next day you have to drain out the water, pour out the water. So next you can see the growth, the white colored structure emerging out from the grains. So then when you see the sprouts, so then it is a really healthy nutritious food to eat. So moving on to the next. So what does animal eat? So in this module we'll be dealing about what does animal eat. So you can see the squirrel over there eating the nut and all, right? So you will then surely be aware of the food animals eat now. So have you ever observed what does a squirrel eat, the pigeon, the lizard and the insects? What do they eat actually? So in this activity 6, so we'll be listing out in the table 1.5. So animals and their food. So now, what does a buffalo eat actually? It eats grass, oil cake, hay. Hay andre hullu. And the grains. So what does a cat eat now? Small animals, birds and milk. So what does a rat eat? It eats grains and fruits and vegetables. What does a lion eat? It eats flesh of other animals. And a tiger eats other animals. So now a spider eats insects. House lizard, it eats the insects. What does a cow eat? Again, the cow eats grass, oil cake, grains and hay and all those. What does a human being eat? We eat grains, fruits, vegetables and animals. does a butterfly eat? Butterfly sucks the nectar of the flower. What does a crow eat? Crow eats grains and small birds. So others like housefly. What does a housefly eat? Fruits, grains and vegetables. So now after doing the activity 6, the table 1.5, you have an idea what all these animals do eat. So moving on to the activity 7, based on the table 1.5, we are going to group up all these animals into 3 categories. So what are they? So the animals which eat only plants and the plant products, we are going to group them into group 1. We call it as herbivores, plant eating animals, such as the elephant, deer and cow and buffalo. So there are some animals which eat other animals, the flesh of other animals. So we are going to categorize them into group 2. We are going to name them as carnivores. Carnivores are nothing but flesh-eating animals such as the tiger, the lion, the leopard and all those. So moving on to the next category, the animals which eat both plants and animals are called as omnivores. So they eat the plants also and also the flesh of other animals. For example, crow, you can take the lizard, you can take the example of human beings. So we all are omnivores. So now we are going to complete the table 1.6. So here the different types of animals based on their eating habits. Herbivores. You can see the cow, buffalo, butterfly, squirrel, rabbit. So in the picture over here you can see the zebra, rabbit, cow, giraffe and elephant. So these are herbivores. So the next category, the carnivores, lion, cat, spider, house lizard and the owl. So in the picture you can see the fox, the wolf, the lion, the shark. The omnivores such as the dog, rat, human being, crow and the dog. In the picture you can see the bear, crow, the fish and the pig. So based on the different types of eating habits, animals are categorized. So animals are classified into groups by how they get energy. Animals get energy from eating. So we're going to quickly summarize now. The animals that eat only plants to get energy are called as herbivores. The animals that eat only animals to get energy are called as carnivores. The animals that eat plants and other animals to get energy are called as omnivores. I have a small video for you students. Please do watch it for the better understanding of the topic.
We all eat food made from sprouts. Do you know how do we obtain sprouts? These are basically obtained from seeds. The seeds of plants such as moong, chana or soybean are kept in a vessel having bigger opening. Put sufficient water in the vessel. Keep it as it is for a day. The next day, remove water completely from the vessel. Now put the seeds over wet cloth and cover them with the cloth. After a day, you will see white structures coming out of the seeds. Here we say that the seeds are sprouted. If you did not find the structures, wash the seeds with water and keep them covered in a wet cloth for next day. The sprouted seeds provide much more nutrients than raw seeds. So can you now help your mother to make delicious dishes with the sprouted seeds? We obtain honey from honeybees. Bees collect sweet juice from flowers called nectar. They store nectar in their living place called beehives. From beehives, we obtain honey. You must have seen beehives hanging on the tree. Don't disturb the bees. They are very strict towards their enemies. Their bite is very dangerous. So I hope you understood this topic very well. Thanks for watching this video. Types of animals based on food habits. All living organisms need food. Do all of them eat plants? No. Based on their food habits, we can classify them into different categories like herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Herbivores. Herb means plants and vores means eaters. The animals which obtain their food only from plants are called herbivores. Examples are goat, cow, horse, deer, giraffe, butterfly, etc. They have flat and broad teeth which help them to pull the plant leaves and grind them. These animals first eat food and fill their stomach. When they are relaxed, they bring the food back into the mouth for chewing it properly. The process of chewing the food by bringing it into mouth from the stomach is called rumination. Butterfly and hummingbird have a straw-like shape with which they suck the sweet juice called nectar from the flowers. Carnivores. Carn means meat and vores means eater. So, the animals which obtain their food only from other animals, that is, in the form of meat, are called carnivores. Example: lion, tiger, fox, eagle, snake, spider, shark, etc. For tearing the flesh, they have sharp and pointed teeth, sharp claws, and very strong jaws. They chew flesh with strong back teeth. Carnivore birds such as eagle have curved, pointed beaks for tearing the flesh. Some animals such as chameleon catches insects with their long tongue. Omnivores. Omni means all and vores means eaters. The animals which obtain their food from plants as well as other animals are called omnivores. Example: human, bear, raccoon, crow, chicken, lizards, rats, etc. They have different kinds of teeth which helps them to eat plants as well as flesh. Omnivorous birds have sharp and pointed beak for eating both plants as well as small insects. Besides these three main categories, there are other animals such as
Yeah, students, so that was the video. So now I have some keywords for you. I'll read it out. Ingredients: edible, nectar, sprouted seeds, herbivore, carnivore, omnivore. So for a quick summarization, so there's a lot of variation in food eaten in different regions of India. The main sources of food are plants and animals. Animals which eat only plants are called as herbivores. Animals which eat only animals are called as carnivores. Animals which eat both plants as well as